If you implement what I'm about to show you in the next 60 minutes, you will have your next listing signed in 7 days. Now, you may be thinking that's a pretty bold claim. However, I closed over $116 million using this exact system that I'm about to show you. Just yesterday, I had a student that was ready to quit the business 2 months ago, just sign his 10th listing in 2 months. And so I'm pulling back the curtain and I'm going to show you exactly what I taught him and what I teach agents all over the country to do. Now, my name's Austin Rankin, and you probably don't know who I am because I never had a big social media following. I didn't do a lot of posting, but I picked this phone up and I learned how to communicate at a high level, and now I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. And so this is called my listing trifecta system. And as you can tell, this is my very first YouTube video, but there are many, many more to come because it's time to show you guys how to use what's called autonomy-driven persuasion. And so what you're going to see next is a recorded video of a live training that I done, and I taught about 200 to 300 people this training. And so you're going to see it's about 60 minutes long. And so at the end of that training, I give away a lot of free stuff. Now, here's what I want you to see and hear, because pay attention. It's going to say when the pop-up comes up to click the button to get whatever you need. Well, that pop-up's not going to come up because obviously this isn't a live training, right? However, my phone number is there below, and all you have to do is just text me and I will give you whatever you're looking for. Okay? So without further ado, let's get into the training and I'll see you guys then. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and we'll jump right into it. All right. Why is that? There we go. Okay, before we jump into it, can everybody see and hear me clearly? Put a 1 in the chat if you can see and hear me clearly. All right, cool. All right, so for anybody who doesn't know what they're here for and what they're learning today, this is called my listing trifecta system. I'm going to give you a little backstory where it comes from, and we'll jump right in. So my goal today is to share with you this system in a way that's efficient. So I'm going to get it done quick, but I'm also going to give you enough information that you can actually take to the marketplace, and enough tools and arsenal that you can do something with it and start getting results. Okay, everybody good with that? And so the listing trifecta system actually was created about 5 years ago. And it was never created because I was trying to teach people anything. This was created to get me, myself, as an agent, out of a financial crisis that I found myself in. So I moved from a little small town in Kentucky to Tampa, Florida, where I am now, and never really have any experience. I didn't have, sales experience. I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. And I found myself in a market with so many agents doing the exact same thing. So I joined coaching programs. I've joined all the gurus out there, and they were all teaching us the same thing. So logically, I thought, to be able to be better than these other agents and to stick out, I guess to separate myself, I have to be different. I have to make the seller see me as different than all these other agents so that I now have their focus. Because to influence anybody, you have to have focus first. And so I created this system that I'm about to show you that separated me from every other agent in the marketplace. And now I teach this to agents all over the country. And so I'm going to show you that. It is so simple, however, so effective. And so let's get started. So here's what I'm going to teach you today. So the first thing obviously is the lead sources. So I'm going to teach you who to go after, why to go after them, and how you structure that in your business. And then I'm also going to show you, once you start to contact these lead sources, how do you have the conversation? How's the conversation flow supposed to go? Because I created what's called autonomy-driven persuasion. I started studying some of the top psychologists, behavior analysis, mentors, communicators out there to figure out how the human brain actually works and how you can communicate and use influence to the point where how we were created, how God created us, how to speak to them and influence somebody that doesn't know you. And then not only am I going to teach you the conversation framework, but now after you've started to build that relationship, how do you follow up in a way that's not salesy, it's not pushy, it's not trying to convince them, but it's in a way that serves them to the point where when they are ready, and even if they're ready now, I teach you how to do that, but they will ask you to list their property. So that might be mind-blowing to you that this is actually possible, but I'm going to show you at the end of this, you're going to believe, okay? And so who am I? I've already told a little bit of my backstory. Again, I'm from a little small town in Kentucky, no connections, I had no money, no experience. I was broke. But anyway, I had no experience. I wasn't in sales anymore, or I wasn't in sales at all before I moved here. And I could not afford the leads. I wasn't buying any Zillow leads. But what I did know, just from doing all the studying and being in programs and stuff like that, is I knew that conversations equal closings. I knew that I had to talk to as many people as possible before I found somebody willing to let me have an opportunity to earn their business. And so, again, I had to create something different, but again, I had to conversate. So conversations equal closings. Write that down. Conversations equal closings. So if you're not having conversations every single day in some way, voice, text, email, Facebook message, Instagram message, TikTok, whatever, if you're not conversating with people in some way, then you're not going to get closings. Even if you buy leads, you still have to call them, right? And so this system that I built in a matter of 4 years has closed over $116 million in just listings myself. I was in a brand new market, no sphere of influence, nothing like that. And in 1 month, I actually closed over $200,000 in commission. My mom was blown because I've never done that in a single month. But I'm going to show you how that actually compounded over time and how I got to that month. And then now I teach agents all over the nation how to systematize the structure and then build a multiple six-figure business using the trifecta. Okay. And so this is the brutal truth. Before we get into the actual training, this approach has consistently closed myself, 4 to 5 listings a month, plus the agents that I coach all over the nation. But the truth is 80% of the agents watching this right now will not do the work. You will not want to increase your skill. You will not commit to doing it. Won't pick up the phone. Just like I talked to you about my agent at the beginning, they were just so afraid to pick up the phone, but they had the skill. Most agents will not commit to bettering themselves and doing the work. And then if they do, they give up before it actually you see a return. That's why 86% of this industry fails. That's the stats. But I'm guessing that's not you guys, right? If you're watching this right now, you're committed to being better, right? I'm speaking it into your life. You're committed to being better. So are you guys ready to get started? I'm going to share all this with you. I need you to put a 2 in the chat if you're ready to get started. Okay? All right. That's what I like to see. Okay. If you stay till the end, here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you what's called my Trifecta toolkit. It's a free toolkit, a Google Drive link that has everything in it, including all my scripts, my ADP goal book of questions. This is all the psychology-based language. And then all my lead trackers, my prospecting trackers, a follow-up breakdown. I'm going to give you a digital copy of my resume, toolkits, follow-up mailers, all that good stuff. I'm also going to give you access to my scaling tool. This is how I was able to scale my business once I started producing a lot more. And I'm also going to give you my role play bot, Karen. She is very, very mean, but she is a good role play partner. So you have access to her. And I also have a course, a free course that goes into more depth of the trifecta that you can learn yourself. Okay. So stay till the end and we'll get that started. Now, the first thing I want to cover is what makes up the trifecta. And if you have any common sense at all, trifecta means 3, right? So there are 3 main lead sources that I go after and that I went after in my business when I was doing production. And that is, number 1 is sniper dialing. This is people that are expires and canceleds, and this is bottom of funnel. So if you think of a funnel, bottom of funnel is the quickest to convert. So bottom of funnel, snipers. Number 2, we'll get into what all these are in a minute, but number 2 is a qualified for sale by owner preview. Preview, okay? That's middle of funnel. Those convert in about 4 to 6 weeks. So that's middle of funnel. And then what's called demographic farming for your pipeline. So pipeline is top of funnel. And so they take longer to convert. Now I'm going to show you why having all 3 of these in a business is going to take you to the moon. So let's get into each one. So number 1 is a sniper dial. So a sniper dial, all that is a targeted approach to calling expires and canceleds that allows you to avoid competing with every other agent in the marketplace. And so when I talked about I need to figure out how to be different and stick out, this is one way I did it. And so I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. I'm going to walk you through the steps. Take notes on this because you are going to be the first voice that they actually hear. Okay, so the conversations are much easier. The conversions are much higher because you are the first person that speaks to them. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is you set yourself up on an MLS alert. Okay, so that means just like you did with a buyer, you're setting them up for, homes when they hit the market to be sent to their email. All you're going to do is set yourself up on an MLS search to where it says 0 days on market. Some MLSs will make you say 1 day, but 0 days on market, and you're going to have it come to your email ASAP. Now, what I personally did was I had a separate email that I set up for this, and it was called newlistingopportunity@gmail.com. Something very simple. And every time a property came off the market that matched the criteria that I was looking for in the area and the price range, I got an instant notification. You don't have it set up once per week or once a day. ASAP is what you want to have it set up as. And then what you're going to do is you'll notice throughout the day that these will start to pop into your email. And so you want to stack the properties until you are ready to call. And so I typically would do this between 1 and 2 p.m. or later in the evening, which is even better, 6 and 7 p.m. And what happens is if you click on the most recent email that came in, then it's going to show you the whole list of homes that came off the market. Now, here's why this is so powerful. All of those properties that you are seeing on that list, all the property you see on that list have not hit the dialers of all the agents. So if you've ever used a dialer, if you know of agents using a dialer or using data to call or expires and FSBOs and all that data is from the prior day. So when you get up in the morning and you're using like RedX or MyPlusLeads or Vulcan 7 or PropStream or whatever you use, all those expires that you see on your list for that early morning that everybody's going to call, that's actually from the day before. And so I'm teaching you how to get in front of those sellers before the other agents. And so if you just stack them all up, then you call them. And the way you found it, or the way you find that information, I use a company called Forewarn. Now, every one of you guys that's an agent, you should have access to Forewarn for free. Okay, I think NAR even has a partnership with them. So where it's like $20 a month if you don't, but if you do, it's free. And all you do is you go to Forewarn, you go to look up owner by name, you type in the name that's on the tax records, and you type in the city and state of the property that expired or canceled. And then when it pops up, it's like an 85% accuracy rate. And you just call the number that's on there. You call the first few numbers. I always recommend calling any number that's in the past 5 years registered. And then you're going to kind of go through that. So you're going to call them, right? Backdoor search them, get their number and call them before anybody else. And you're going to do 3 things. Contact first, convert them, then caution them. So you're going to contact them, use the scripts that I'm going to give you, and then you're going to caution them. Caution them meaning, hey, John, listen, you're probably going to get about 100 to 150 calls tomorrow from a bunch of desperate agents trying to get you to list your property. I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up. If you want to put that on silent, you want to maybe put do not disturb on your phone so that you're not getting all these calls and it's super frustrating. I can't tell you how many sellers that I've actually done this with and converted them that first day, and then they don't answer anybody else's call, and you're the only agent they interview. It happens so often. So that's a sniper dial. If you do that every single day, you'll probably spend about 30 minutes to an hour doing this every day, sometimes even less time. Okay, that's a sniper dial. Next is a qualified FSBO preview. Now, this has been my bread and butter ever since I started. I actually started in real estate when I started really producing. I went all in with for sale by owners. And so I realized that no matter how good you are on the phone with your scripts, most for sale by owners, when I say most, I mean like 80% of them are at least going to wait 30 days, maybe, 3 weeks, sometimes even up to 8 weeks. So between 4 and 6 weeks is typically when they will convert. And so what I started to realize is no matter how good your skill was at trying to convert on the first call, they still waited. And so if you were trying to get in front of them for a listing appointment, you would end up burning the bridge, burning the relationship, and then you never got the opportunity to list the property because you upset them the first time you talked to them, right? And so what I started to do is I created what's called a hybrid preview, which is a qualified preview. And you find out, right, on the phone if they have an agent that they have to use or they've already hired. When they tell you they don't, then you see if there's an opportunity to interview in the future. Hey, if for whatever reason this property doesn't sell in the next 30 or 60 days, I mean, I'm assuming you probably have an agent that you would have to use that you've basically already hired, right? No, no, not at all. We're not committed to anybody. We're going to try it on our own for 30 or 40 days, right? Of course. And if that time does happen to come, I mean, I guess would there be any reason why me myself couldn't interview for the position to show you what I could do for you to see if it makes sense? Of course not, right? And so that you get the opportunity. Now here's where it gets important. Instead of just sitting back and waiting for those 30 or 40 days like most other agents, you're going to say, okay, well, listen, before I let you go, can I just make a quick recommendation? Sure, Austin, what's that? Hey, listen, I know right now, obviously, the main priority is to be able to connect you with a client. And so the last thing I ever want to do is waste your time. And so I'm actually going to be in the area on Tuesday around like 3 p.m. And so if I were to swing by, take a quick look at the home, get a feel for the layout. And then what I'll do, John, is I'll just push it out to my database and see if there's anybody that I can connect you with that won't waste your time, that'll give you an offer that makes sense. I mean, John, would you be totally offended if I were to swing by and take a look? And so you're not telling them you have a buyer. You're not telling them that you're coming there to bring somebody. You're saying that you work with qualified buyers, which you do, and you're going to come by to take a look at the home and to see if you can't help connect them with somebody. And so the qualified preview is somebody who will eventually use an agent, and you're going over there to help them and serve them, not try to sell them. You don't go over and pull out a listing presentation. You don't go over there and then say, well, let me just tell you what I can do. Unless they actually give you permission to do that, you're there to serve them and to serve them only. Okay? Because I'll show you what you do in the follow-up. You're there to serve them only, and they already know that you would love an opportunity to show them what you do for your clients. And so that's a qualified preview. Now, the goal for these is to do 5 a week. If you do 1 every day, that's 5. If you do maybe 2 and 2 and then 1, you can do 3 days a week, whatever you do it, but the goal is 5. Here's how the numbers have worked out. I've tested this for years. If you go on 10 previews, about 2 to 3 of those will become a lead, and 1 to 2 will eventually give you an opportunity to earn their business. So if you think about it, if you go on 10 every 2 weeks, that is, so that's 20 a month. Therefore, the conversions, you should be about 4 to 5 listings a month just from this if you can execute this at a high level, right? And so that's a FSBO preview. Now, the other thing that I'll tell you is, let's say you don't call them, you don't get in front of them, you don't preview them. Here's another strategy. Find the open houses that for sale by owners are doing, show up to the open house, treat it as a preview. I always bring a couple things. I bring some cookies. I'll show up about 10 minutes early. I'll bring some cookies. I'll bring a sign-in sheet. I'll make some flyers for them that have their information in a QR code that actually goes to their Zillow ad. And if you do my free training, it's actually in there too, so you can print all this stuff out. But I give them all that, and then before I leave, I just say, hey, John, listen, this is a beautiful home, and I'm not sure if this makes sense or not, but if for whatever reason you just don't end up getting the home sold in the next like 60 or 90 days, I mean, have you guys already hired an agent that you would have to use? Well, no, of course not. Okay, cool. And I guess would there be any reason why we couldn't have a conversation to see if what I do for my clients would actually make sense for you? And if you ask them this in person after you've given and served them in so many ways, most of the time they're going to say, no, Austin, of course. I mean, we'd love to give you an opportunity. We're going to try it on our own for so long, blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, what you've done to separate yourself from every other agent is you have now met them face to face. They now not only hear your voice, but they connect with a face and they connect with value. Okay. So that's why a preview is so important, because a FSBO will do business with people they have met before they'll do business with somebody they've never met. So that is a FSBO preview, a qualified FSBO preview. All right. Next is what's called demographic farming. This is your pipeline. This is people that you know they're not going to convert right this second, but these are people who convert in about 6 to 12 months. Most agents do not go after this lead source because they are so instant gratifying, like they're searching for instant gratification, that they're too lazy to go after this. Let me show you why it's so important. If you already are doing some deals with a FSBO, the expireds or whatever, and you have the now money coming in, try to devote at least an hour to this a day. Because here's why. This is your ideal avatar sellers. I mean, this is people that you can pick the area, you can pick the type of house, you can pick downsizers, even the age of people. You can pick so many different things about the quality of the seller that these are the people that you'll love to work with. You'll look forward to work with. These are people that'll pay you more money than an expired and a FSBO because they're always worried about, well, what are we paying an agent? These people will pay you more money, and they're better sellers to work with, and they're your ideal seller. They're your ideal properties. And so what you're going to do here is you have to use like a data source for this. I use what's called My Plus Leads. And so you can use, Vulcan 7, all the data sources that I mentioned a while ago. Vulcan 7, Batch Leads is another good one, PropStream, My Plus Leads, RedX, those type of data sources. You're going to identify the targets. You're going to create your list, right? You're going to call them. And so these are just relationships. All you're doing on these calls is building relationships with the sellers. And then number one question you ask them after you've talked to them, I'm giving you the scripts, by the way, but you say, hey, if you ever did decide to maybe make a move, whether it be now or even 10 years down the road, I'm assuming you already have an agent that you would absolutely have to use. Well, no. Well, probably not. No, we don't really talk to our agent that we bought it with. Heck, we've been here for 15 years. We never even speak to her or him. Okay, well, look, I mean, a lot of the clients that I've worked with, a lot of your neighbors, they have really appreciated that I kind of was there for them as a resource. And I'm assuming you wouldn't be offended if I was there for you as a resource if you needed anything, right? Well, of course not. Collect their information, and then you put them on what's called the F.A.V follow-up, which I'm going to go over in a minute. That is gaining permission. You're gaining permission to stay in touch with them and to be a resource, okay? Then you put them in your pipeline, and what ends up happening is what's called the popcorn effect. So if you plug people into the pipeline down here, let's say the conversions are here, and it might take 6 to 12 months to get here. But if you continually put people in here, that's your ideal avatar seller, eventually they're going to get to that end of the pipeline. They're going to mature, and they're going to start to pop off. You're going to start to see a lot more people converting that is this type of seller that you actually want to work with, okay? And so what ends up happening, and I'm just going to show you how the trifecta actually is created to give you such a fruitful business that once you start doing it this way, you'll never want to do it anywhere else. So if you combine these three, now I wouldn't advise trying to do all three if you're brand new. Start with one, get good at it, add another one on, then add another one on. Okay, but let's say you have all three. What ends up happening is you have immediate conversions. That's 1 to 7 days. That's your snipers. Then you've had the qualified previews. They start to convert over time. That's your 4 to 6 weeks. That's about middle of funnel. Then you have your demographic farming start to convert in 6 to 12 months. Now here is where the magic happens. Okay, so here's how the trifecta starts to work over time. So as your pipeline starts to mature, so this dark line here, that is the snipers and FSBOs. You'll start to convert these at a high level. And if you notice this lighter gray, this is why agents quit. This is why they don't do demographic farming, because they go, man, this doesn't work. This sucks. I'm putting all this time and effort into it, and they're barely converting and doing anything. So I'm just going to stop altogether. But if you continue to go, what ends up happening is your pipeline starts to mature. They start to pop off. They start to list, and then you find yourself preferring to work with them and only them. And what ends up happening is you can stop calling for sell by owners and expireds. You can stop calling people who don't want to talk to you, who are the worst quality leads that you can get, and you'll start working with the people you want to work with. Now here's where the scaling starts to happen. Once you start to convert those demographic farms that circle prospects over here, right? You continue to call them every day. And what you'll notice is you'll have a consistent lead or consistent income from these type of sellers that you want to work with. And then you hire an ISA, somebody to call on your behalf to continue to stuff that pipeline. And then guess what? You don't have to do anymore. Cold call. What's the point of prospecting every single day for sale by owners and expireds until you expire as an agent? No, you want to get to the point where you have business coming to you without you having to pick up this thing called a phone. I know this thing weighs 1,000,000 pounds to you guys anyways. And so if you could get to a point and you knew in your business that you didn't have to do that anymore, why wouldn't you do it? This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Okay. If you're going to do prospecting, it's the easiest and quickest way to get listings. If you're going to do it this way, this is the way to do it. Okay, so now I have people calling on my behalf. Now I don't even have to call anymore. All I have to do is help agents around the country know how to call, And so this is how you build it. I'm showing you the game plan and the blueprint right now. Okay, this is how the conversions happen over time. Okay, now number two is this is what's called my ADP framework. This is the 5 steps of autonomy driven persuasion. And again, this has been developed through psychology, through top communicators, mentorships, and stuff like that. Now, every conversation that you go into with a prospect, you'll take them through these 5 stages. And so I could spend hours on this. This is a lot of what I coach my agents on, but I'm actually going to give you all the scripts that have these kind of mapped out. Like they'll say, this is diffusion, this is connection, engagement, all that stuff. And so you'll see how it's kind of broken down, but I'm going to quickly explain it to you so you understand how people are actually communicating. This is how you psychologically are able to influence people. Okay, so here's the 5 steps. Number one is diffusion. Diffusion, when you think of diffuse, you think of like stopping a fire, right? Or putting out a lit wick or something. Diffusion is lowering somebody's sales resistance, gaining permission, and creating curiosity. Okay, so I'm going to say it again. When you are diffusing somebody, it's a pattern interrupt, it's novelty, it's saying something that will break the prospect script in their mind so that they are now focused on you. Because if you don't ever gain their focus, you can't gain anything else in the conversation. You can't even get them to listen to you, even if what you're saying is logical and it makes sense. If you've ever been in a conversation with somebody and they're just not toned in and you can tell that they're not engaged in the conversation, you could say, hey, I have $1 million in a brown paper bag. I'm going to drop it off at your door. Is that okay? Heck no, don't do that. You're an agent. We hate you. They're not engaged. They're not focused on what you're saying. So the first thing you have to do is diffuse the prospect, get them to lower the resistance and to allow you into the conversation. That's number one. Number two is connection. So that is letting the prospect know what the conversation's even going to be about. Because if you enter a conversation, let's say you diffuse them and then you start asking all these questions about what you was calling about, they have no idea why they should even stay on the phone with you. Connection is meeting the sellers where they are at and helping them understand what the conversation is even going to be about. And so if you can connect with them, then they allow you, they meet you where you're at and they say, okay, sure, let's have a conversation about that. Okay. Then you move into engagement. Now, engagement is the most important part of the entire conversation. This is where you find out motivation. This is where you create a gap from where they are now, creating pain from where they are now to where they want to be. That's the ideal outcome, right? So your whole premise, your whole goal in this engagement stage is to create a gap, is to find out why they're selling. I'm going to show you a framework of how you can do that. And if you go to the gold book of questions that I have, I break down literally question for question how to ask for each one of these. Okay, so let me get my board out. I'm going to show you real quick. Okay, hope you guys can see that all right. Make this a little bit bigger for me. Okay, cool. So this is called DART. So this is the framework to find out somebody's motivation. The more of these they have, the more motivated they are. Just because they don't have all of them doesn't mean they're not motivated. It just means they may not be as motivated. Okay, so I'm going to go through them with you. Pay attention and take notes on this. So number one, this is desire. Desire means, do they want to sell, right? Desire means like they can need to sell. They may have a timeline. They may have everything else, but they don't want to sell, just like a foreclosure. They have everything they have to sell, but they just don't want to. They end up going in foreclosure. They don't have desire, right? So they have to have the actual want to sell, right? Next is ability. Ability. Can they actually sell? Now, if they have kids that are in school right now, or kids that are in college, or they just had surgery and they're recovering, whatever the case is, they don't have the ability to sell. They may have other things, but they don't have the ability, right? Next is reason. Now, this one is very, very, very important. Most of the time when you're talking to a prospect, you're going to find out the reason before you find out anything else, right? And so reason is that there's a difference between desire and reason. So reason is, do they have to sell? And then desire is, do they want to sell? And as you know, there's a lot of people who want to sell, but they want a price that just is unrealistic. There's people who have to sell. Those are going to be your best prospects because those people will do and really follow whatever instruction that you have as a professional to get them to their outcome. So reason. The next is a timeline. Do they have a timeline in mind that they want to have this sold by? Because that shows motivation. If they say, hey, I could wait 7 years before I sell this thing, you really want that client? It's up to you. They can say, I really need to sell, I really need to sell, but I could probably wait another 2 years before I do. Then they really don't have a strong enough reason. So this is called the DART method. If you can figure out these things, and if they have if they have a reason, they have an ability, they have desire and a timeline, all, and you can find that in the conversation, get in front of those people. They are going to list. Okay. And so write this down. If you want to screenshot this, whatever you want to do, I'm going to roll it away. But this has been the exact way to engage with the prospect, be able to find out if they need to sell, have to sell, if they have the ability, desire, all that stuff. This is what you want to focus on in creating the gap. Okay. Now, after you've created the gap, now you're going to move into the transition phase. Now, the transition phase is where you stop talking about their situation and you're going to present a possible solution to the pain that you figured out in the engagement while giving them what's called full autonomy. And autonomy is based out of autonomy-driven persuasion, right? So autonomy is control. Control. Do they have full control over the outcome of whatever you guys decide to do? Right? And so I teach a lot of my agents. This is called reframing. We use what's called elicitation and normative influence. Okay. And so I know that's words you may not have heard before, but when I'm talking about autonomy, one of the key phrases that you want to use in that is, and listen, this is completely up to you. And listen, if what I show you doesn't make sense, I mean, you wouldn't have a problem just telling me that up front, right? Or, at the end of the day, I mean, you're not going to do anything unless it makes complete sense to you, right? And listen, if we get together and I walk you through a strategy that, made you feel like you're putting them in a future pace, made you feel like it was significantly better than what any other agent showed you, I mean, would there be any reason why you wouldn't want to take a look at that? Because let's face it, you're only going to make a decision unless it makes, or if it makes complete sense to you, right? And so what you're doing here is you're transferring that risk off of them to yourself and saying there is no risk whatsoever to meeting with me because you, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, have full control. So I was told this by a mentor, to gain control or to keep control over any conversation, you have to allow the other person to feel like they have it. That's autonomy. And so the transition stage is when you start to use that autonomy to present yourself as a solution, to get in front of them while giving them full control. Okay. And so I want to show you this. Actually, let's talk about, no, let me show you this. Okay. Real quick. I know we're getting kind of longer on time, but I really wanted to break this down for you guys. Okay. So I'm going to show you, this is called the hierarchy of influence. And so let's say you have a triangle here. Okay. Okay. So you first have thoughts. Hope you guys can see that. Thoughts. This is feelings. And this is patterns. Okay. So this is how the lower you get on this triangle, the hierarchy, the more influence you're going to have on somebody. Okay. So the thoughts, that's your scripts, that's your words, that's what you say. Okay. Everybody talks about having the magic script. The script does not matter if you only stay here. Okay. You're not going to influence somebody just by the words you say. Every now and then you might get somebody, but they're already in pain. They're already experiencing like, I need a result. I need an agent, whatever. But this is why a lot of agents fail because they're so focused on just influencing the thoughts. You take it a step further, you influence how they feel. If you can connect to how they feel, now you're influencing them even farther. And then you'll start to influence their patterns, their behavior. So this is electrical, chemical, and behavioral. That's psychology. Okay. How do you do it though? How do you do it? This is going to blow your mind right here. You do it By literally flipping it upside down, just like I'm showing you in this conversation. The first thing you do is you have to interrupt their pattern. That's the pattern interrupt. That's diffusion. That's using novelty to get them to go, whoa, whoa, this is different than every other agent. This sounds different. So therefore, they drop the script that they have in their mind and they now are focused on what you have to say. Now they're influenceable. The next thing is the feelings. The engagement stage, the feelings. You're starting to talk about things that make them feel and they make them connect. You're asking them questions about where they are, where they need to be. What happens if you don't sell it? What happens if you do sell? What's the outcome that you want out of that? Oh, you want to be with your family in Tennessee. That would be awesome. You get to see everybody. You're asking all these questions that invoke feeling to the point where now you're getting deeper on that triangle, right? And so then and only then, well, when you transition, this is the thoughts. So then and only then, when you start to use the patterns and the different types of words and the psychology of the words you say and how you say it, then and only then is it actually going to influence them. You've interrupted their pattern, you made them feel a certain way and connect to you, and then now they're able to listen to what you have to say. That's how you influence every single seller you talk to. Okay? All right, you're about halfway through the training right now. I'm going to stop really quick. Number one, to say thank you for being with me so far. And number two, if you would like to actually see what it looks like to work closer with me and some of the top agents around the country, I'm going to put my number below here. Really quick, I'm going to put my number below here. All you have to do is send me a text message. Let me know that you watched this video, and I would be happy to jump on a call with you to see if us working together would make sense. And if it doesn't, that's totally fair as well. But I want to give you that opportunity now. So I'm going to put the number below. If you have any questions or want to jump on a call with me, send me a text message right now. The next stage, I wasn't even planning on doing that. Anyway, the next stage is commitment. All this is getting the seller to agree verbally to whatever they just agree to there, because it's called commitment and consistency bias. So when somebody verbally will recommit to whatever they have said they'll do, they're more likely to do it because they follow through with their word. They're going to feel convicted if they don't follow through with what they say they're going to do. Okay, that's simple. So if they agree to having a future conversation or whatever, I'm going to re-ask them about that conversation. If they have agreed to meet with me in person, I'm going to say something like, hey, and listen, I know this probably isn't going to happen, but there should be no reason you're going to cancel on me last minute, right? No, not at all. Just that simple statement in question is going to raise your set to met ratio. That easy. So you're getting them to commit, and then you move forward. That simple. Diffuse them, connect with them, engage with them, transition, offer what you do as a possible solution, give them the autonomy, and then have them recommit to that. That simple. If you can just know that when you make your calls, that'll already help you. I'm still going to give you the scripts, though, to go along with it. All right. Now, next, last but not least, we're going to try to get through this pretty quick, is the F.A.V follow-up strategy. Now, F.A.V, it is my favorite. However, it actually stands for something. And if you can put these three in play, no other agent's going to be able to compete with you. Number one, the F, that's first impression. Can you make a good enough first impression? Number two is automation to stay top of mind. Most sellers do business with people that not only do they like and trust, but that are come top of mind whenever they're ready. You know how many agents I've talked to that don't do follow-up, and they're literally their cousins or their best friend's parents end up listing with another agent because that agent was top of mind whenever they needed it? It's happened a lot. And so you have to stay top of mind using automation. And then V stands for value. Value through personal touches. So that means that this isn't automated. This is you delivering value to the prospect through something personal. All right, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is first impression. So this is what I do when it comes to making a first impression. With any lead or appointment that I get, I always send them a text message and ask them to save my contact. I send them a link to my resume. I also email them my resume, and I put a video introducing myself. Okay, then I also will write a handwritten thank you card that simply says, hey, John, thank you so much for your time today. This is regardless of if I meet with them or not. It's going to sound the same thing. Hey, John, thank you so much for your time today. I hope I'm lucky enough to earn your business. I underline the word lucky. I put a $1 scratch off ticket in there, and my business card. Close it up, put it in the mail, and send her out. That simple. So now you've sent them a text message, has all your information, and very professional. You ask them to save your number. They'll comply with that. If you followed the conversation framework, now you have some influence on them, and they're going to listen to you. They'll save your contact. Then you're going to email them a resume. It's going to connect face to face. They're going to see your face. They're going to hear your voice. And then they're going to get something from you in the mail that's so personal because it made a good impression that they're going to go, man, this guy's different. This girl's different. Okay, first impression. Next is automation top of mind. So I do two things for automation. Always have a weekly email. Now, your weekly email should be a staple in your business. If you work with me, if you work with a lot of really high-end mentors, they're going to tell you your weekly email is essential. Everybody you know needs to be on this weekly email. This is how I do my weekly emails, just to give you kind of a behind the curtains look, is I have 2 real estate related and I have 2 that's not real estate related. 2 about the area, 2 that's real estate related. Now I'll give you a little bit of an insight here. The 2 that's real estate related, I do deal of the month and then I do client of the month. And I have ChatGPT write it in a way that's able to be read in under 1 minute. And I don't include any links. All I do is one photo with a PS, and then the PS, the call to action, is to reply to the email. All right. Weekly email. The next automation is a direct mailer. This is not something you have to implement right now. I would implement the weekly email, but the direct mailer is just an addition. This is something that'll add like icing to the cake, right? And so I always send something of value. I always send out some kind of treat, something else, like every 3 to 4 weeks, like with FSBOs on the 4th week, I'll send out a brownie with the card because they always convert within those 4 to 6 weeks. So I send that out to make a really good impression. And that brownie has a picture of me on it and it says brownie points. It's kind of silly, but it gets everybody to laugh, right? And so I always send something out every single week. Or if they're a nurture lead, I send it out every month. That's the automation. All right. Last but not least is value through personal touches. Okay. So these values, this is what actually builds relationships. This is what helps people feel like you're actually there to serve them. If you set them up all on automation, they're going to see at the bottom of that text message that's automated, or bottom of that email, to opt out, just reply the word stop. To them, they say, well, I'm not special to this person. So what I want you to do is 2 things. Number 1, set them up on what's called a competition update. Now, what this is you go to your MLS, just like you're setting yourself up for a sniper, just like you're setting a buyer up to get properties. You're going to go and find all the homes that are competition homes to them. Okay, so you're going to set up a search for the same, what I call total adjustable market. So I usually do about $100,000 price range. So if it's a $550,000 home, from 500 to 600. If it's 600, I'll do 550 to 650. I try to do it right in the middle, and then I set up their actual their area code, so their zip code, and then that price range. That's it, because I want them to see what buyers have the option to choose in the price range that they're in. Now, I'll narrow it down to like the same type of home, like if it's a single family townhome or condo or something like that. I don't put all of those in there, but I narrow it down there. But I don't do any other criteria. Price point, location. So if it's in a neighborhood that's really special, just circle the neighborhood. But you have to use common sense for this. But I use the price range, area, and the same type of property. And so you're going to set it up to come to yourself, okay, to come to yourself every single Monday. And then you're going to take that link and you're going to put it in a text message. You're going to send it out to the prospect every Monday. Say, hey, here's your last week's competition update to let you know what all the buyers are seeing so you can keep an edge on your competition. Now, the cool thing about this is they don't have to sign in. They can just click on the link and see it. If you're doing this for nurtures, you're doing this for somebody that's like months out, you can do every 30 days. You can do every quarter. Depending on how far out the prospect is, you can do these competition updates. Okay? The next thing I'll do is a Friday weekend text. Now, this has probably been one of the biggest converters in my follow-up process, because for some reason, Fridays, people are in a better mood. They have a better outlook, or they just got beat up all week as a for sale by owner and expired, and they're ready to actually talk to somebody. And so the Friday text is very simple. It just says, hey, John, hope you have a great weekend. If you need anything at all, I'm here to serve. That's it. You send that out every Friday. This is for people that you're following up with weekly. If it's somebody that's, again, every 30 days, you send it out every 30 days. Now, something else you can do on top of that, or instead of that, if you have a bunch of leads that are nurtures, instead of texting every single one of them, you can actually use a company called Sly Broadcast. And if you you have my free training, I'll walk you through how to do that. But the Sly Broadcast, you can record a voicemail, something very similar to the Friday text where you just say, hey, and you don't put the name in there, obviously, because you're sending it to a bunch of people. Hey, it's Austin. Real quick, I was actually just thinking about you guys. I was in the area. I just hope you guys are doing well. If you need anything at all, I want to let you know I'm here to help you guys. Have a good one. Have a good rest of your day. Something that simple. Okay. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're just letting them know you're thinking about them and you're there to help them. Okay. Friday weekend text and then voicemail drop periodically if you're going to do it for nurtures. I would do that either monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly. Okay. So I'm going to go over it real quick one more time. All right. So first impression, save my contact text. You're going to email them a resume and you're going to send them a handwritten thank you card. Then you're going to set them up on your weekly email, which you should be doing anyway. Everybody goes on your weekly email. Set them up on a direct mailer piece. And then every Monday, you're just going to send them a text message with a link to their competition from the MLS, and you're going to send them a text on Friday. Okay, so you have Monday competition watch, Wednesday email, Friday text, and then a mailer that goes out at some point. A lot of this stuff you can create templates for and just create it and go. And it's easy. All your follow-ups for your people should take less than an hour to do. This isn't something where you're putting a ton of time and effort into because like I told you at the beginning, I've simplified this so easy. Okay? So that's just the overview real quick. Okay? So get face-to-face with 5 qualified for sell by owners a week, if possible. If you can get in front of 5 qualified for sell by owners a week, that's great. Okay? Once you've mastered that, then be the first voice and actually set listing appointments with snipers. If you find yourself having to do I do a preview or a sniper appointment? Always go on a listing appointment, obviously. You can replace them if you need to. All right. Next is spend an hour pipeline packing the exact avatar sellers you want to work with. And then use this follow-up system to stay in touch, to serve them, to bring value, and then they will contact you about listing it. Now, I always tell my agents there's something called jab, jab, left hook, right? It's a Gary V thing. It's used in marketing. You can also use it in this. Every couple weeks, if you notice these people are starting to change their price, they're starting to ask you questions, you always can go for an appointment at that point because you've served them and gave them so much value that the law of reciprocity says they will hear you what you have to say. So I've done that. And then I promise you, if you do this, get ready for the listing appointments to start rolling in. Okay? So that's the quick overview. Now, here's the question for you guys. I know that was a lot of information, but again, this is the exact system that I've used. And once you start to do it, it's so simple. This is a proven way to consistently produce listing appointments each and every week. Okay, it's a way that's working right now in this market. The reality is, like I said at the beginning, 80% of you will never actually take the first step to do what it takes to change your business. Most of you will leave this webinar, will leave this masterclass, never change your business, and then wonder and blame the market and wonder why nothing's changing, right? Here's my question. Here's my challenge to you. How do you expect any clients to trust you, commit to you, be able to sign the dotted line and say, I will give you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in commission when you know that you cannot even commit to yourself to get better? Ask yourself that question. Okay. So I'm going to make you guys an offer today. I'm going to make you an offer on this masterclass right now to see who's actually committed and who's happy just being the same. Okay. So if I can get into the offer, I'm going to ask your all's permission. Okay. This is a 3-part offer stack. Let's put a 3 since we already used 1 and 2. Put a 3 in the chat if I am allowed to make you guys a one-time offer. Okay. This is the exact offer that I've made my other students, and they're booking 4 to 5 listings a month. Here's another thing. They're done by 6 p.m. and they don't work weekends. I'm helping agents create something that they have financial freedom and their life is fulfilling because they don't have to work all the time. A system that's going to be working on your behalf. Okay? God did not create us for the grind culture. He created us for grace. And this is what I'm going to show you guys. Okay? This is real results that I got, that some of my students got in 1 week. Okay. I'm going to make you guys an offer, and then I will give you guys the Trifecta toolkit that you can have for free. All right. First things first is the systems. Okay, so this is all the systems that I'm combining for this specific offer. The ADP conversation system, this is exactly what to say to every lead. All the scripts, everything to do so that you're using autonomy, you're using persuasion, you're doing everything the way that you're supposed to do. This is the conversation system. Okay, the next is the follow-up system. So what to do now, not only am I giving you the follow-up system, and I'm giving you all the plug and play resources that you can literally take and use tomorrow. You don't even have to redo everything. You just have to rebrand it to yourself. I'm giving you templates that you can just redo yourself, that the ones that I personally used. Okay. I'm also going to give you the listing presentation mastery, because we all know if you get to the listing appointment, you can't close it, you're not going to get paid, right? Listing presentation mastery. This is all the scripts, all the pricing, positioning, all the seller psychology behind it. And I'm going to give you all of that included in this. I'm also giving you the raving fan system. This is not, once you get the listing, it's how do you serve that client at a level where they become a raving fan and they always want to do business with you. And then not only that, but I'm also giving you the referral system of what to do after you close the deal and how to put them on a system and a follow-up and a touch point that they are always going to remember you and send you people just every single year, where you're now creating referrals and not having to call. Again, the goal here is to help you guys get out of having to make cold calls and to have a system that works for you. And then I have a system called the Hustler to CEO. This is where you're starting to produce a lot of listings. You're starting to do 50, 60, 70 listings a year. Heck, some of you guys maybe want to do 30 or 40. That's it. That's okay. If you want to get to the point where you're not doing it yourself and you have the skill, you have the ability to train an ISA, I'm going to teach you how to scale out of your business so that you can do the same amount of production with less time. Okay, that's the Hustler to CEO. All of this comes with in-depth training. Each process, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. It's through a system called School, and I'm giving you all that. That's pillar number one. Pillar number two is the actual skill development, because as we all know, skills pay the bills, right? And so you'll have the systems, you'll have all the stuff, but if you don't know how to go and execute it, that's where the problem lies. So we do live advanced trainings on influence and seller psychology. I give you guys a little bit of a notice. Let me show you this right now. You see this book right here? This is called the Behavior Ops Manual. This book is full of psychology that I teach my agents, and I just give you probably half a page of that. That book has thousands and thousands of pages that you will learn. Okay, so we're using daily role plays, we're calling together masterminding rooms. We actually do this stuff together. You're not going to be alone. You're going to be in rooms with people. You can listen to them call, listen to me call, listen to me coach them. You're not going to be alone in this. You're also going to, we're going to do what's called seller behavioral training, so you understand how to read sellers, how to understand what they're thinking, things like that. And then we're also doing business scaling training. So once you start to produce a lot more, we have trainings to where we help you actually scale out of that. Okay. The results say that agents who actually train in this ADP that I've trained over the years, they convert on average 57% higher than the average agent. Okay. And so when I show you the average conversion rates, and then I show you the conversion rates that you're going to have after a year with me, it's going to blow those average agents out of the water. Okay. So that's pillar number two. Last but not least is the support. So this is something that is very undervalued, but I think more people use this than anything else. And you have access to an elite community that has top producing agents all over the country. We're helping each other out. We're sharing strategies. They're passing back and forth referrals. And you also have direct access to me and my team for any questions, anything like that. So if you struggle with something, you literally send me a message and I can voice text you back that same day. You don't have to wait to the next call. We have multiple calls a week where we train on listing presentation, just coaching calls where we go through skill training, we go through questions that you have about your business, but you can reach out to me anytime and I'll help you at any time that you need. You also have access to a one-on-one training with me through what's called Lifelines. So it's a video training where we jump on Zoom, we walk through your problem and we get it executed. Okay. And then also we have live events every single year where we have a 2-day events where we just pour value, we pour life into you guys and we build you up and you leave there feeling like a different person. All right. So all this together is a value about 14,500. I've had agents pay this. I've had agents pay this amount of money to get all three of these. However, my goal today is not to make you guys feel like everybody else. What I want to do with you guys is make you an offer that I hope you can't refuse. All right? So here's the offer. For you today, if you're watching this webinar, if you're watching this masterclass, I'm going to give it to you for $7,500. Financing is available. However, here's what I want you to think about before you even commit. I have what's called a result and refund guarantee. Results or refund guarantee. So this is all in writing for you, but if you do not get 2 listings in the next 90 days using my systems and everything I tell you to do, I give you back 100% of whatever you've paid. 100%, no questions asked. So think about this. That's 1 listing. Most of you guys, that's less than 1 listing. So you're guaranteed to get 2. I'm asking you to invest less than 1 listing into yourself to develop a skill you're going to have the rest of your life. Who thinks that's actually a pretty daggone good deal? Right? Exactly. There's no risk to you whatsoever. You're guaranteed to get 2 listings. If you don't get the 2 listings, I give you your money back. If you get, heck, 1 listing, it pays for this whole thing for the year, right? But I do really believe that for the agents who make a commitment and that take action, like I said at the beginning, 80% of agents don't take action. They don't commit. So for those of you that will commit, I'm going to reward you today. All right? I'm going to reward you. I'm going to give you this entire thing for the first 15 people that commit. I'm going to give you 84% off that $14,500, which equals to be $2,500. $2,500. You still get the results and refund guarantee, and I'm also going to throw in 4 private one-on-one sessions. I sell this in my program for $1,000 a month for one-on-ones with me every week. I'm going to give you 4 of them for free. Okay? $2,500. You're all in, and you will change your life and your business. I will show you the way, but you will do it yourself because you're capable of it. You can do it. You have the skill. You have the ability to learn the skill if you don't already have it. I'm going to show you how to implement that skill and become one of the top agents in your brokerage or in your area. Okay? So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer real quick. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm going to have a pop-up show up here in just a second. You're going to click on that. Schedule a call with me. Okay? Here's what I need to say very, very clearly. Schedule a call. All you have to do is just schedule it. It doesn't have to be today. But if you reschedule that call, you don't show up or you cancel it, the $2,500 is off the table. I'll still give you the $7,500 one. But if you want the $2,500, I need agents who are going to commit. That's going to go all in with their business. And I'm giving you this for 84% off. Okay, so I'm going to go blank for 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer and I'll be back. And if for some reason the pop-up isn't working, text ready to this number and my team will send you the link to schedule the call. All right? See you in a minute. All righty. I see a few more coming in here. Get about 10 more seconds. I've got about three more spots left. Okay, about three more spots. Cool. All right, I got you. There you go. All right. I think I have like, yeah, I should have a couple more spots left. One just signed up now. All right, guys, I'm gonna let this one go. I'm gonna go to the next page. Guys, if you still want in on this, please text this number. All right, because I think I've took the pop-up away. Go ahead and text this number real quick if you want in on this. If you don't, you want to keep doing your own thing, do your own thing. That's okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the free toolkit. All right, moving on. Okay. Here's the free toolkit. I'm gonna have my team pop up a link real quick or a pop-up that's gonna give you guys access to this Google Drive. Now, I just want to make this very clear. The uh, the business scaling tool, when you get into that, you have to make a copy of it. You can't just edit the template because everybody has access to the template. If you edited the template, everybody's gonna see your stuff. So just make a copy of the scaling tool if you get it. Okay. And then everything else you should be able to get without a problem. If for some reason the pop-up isn't working, text free to this number. My team will send you back the link. All right. So, thank you all for showing up. Thank you for at least committing to showing up and learning something new. And if you want to be like myself and a lot of the other agents in the nation that are doing this exact system, reach out to me. I'd be happy. This is my number. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to jump on a call with you guys and discuss further. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close the screen share. And without further ado, I'm going to end this stream here. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you need anything at all, have any questions, I know I didn't get some questions in there, message me on Instagram, send me a text message. I'm here to serve you guys, help you all with whatever you need. And until then, I'll see you next time.